So that he could get a bigger crowd, I put an F in front of Ozzy.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to help him out.
All right, who's first? Let's go. Jump in.
I can hop in.
You can talk about Ozzy all day if you want. I don't care. Whatever you want.
So you've been Le Champion, you've done the Inner Circle, you have the Appreciation Society. Overall, what is left for Chris Jericho and AEW? What's the next goal?
We're just getting started. That's the thing. Like that's one of the things I love about AEW is it's really revitalized my love for wrestling and my creativity. I think the last 3 years have been some of the best work in my career, and it's exciting for me when each week you see the audience expand, you see more people hearing about AEW, and this is my company. We helped create this company, Tony and I and Kenny and Nick and Matt and Cody, and to see how big we've gotten in such a short time, it really means a lot to me because I could have stayed in WWE and would have been great, but I wanted to really try and see if we could change the course of wrestling history, and I think we've done that already. And once again, just getting started. There's so many places we haven't even been yet, even in America, worldwide. We haven't had one international show yet. I think the first time we go to London, we can draw 50,000 people there. So, it's really exciting to be here and just to be doing what I consider some of my best work ever.
So what's it like for you to have that creative freedom? Because that's got to be refreshing. Like to have a lot more creative freedom.
I always had a degree of creative freedom in the past, but now it's like it's a lot of responsibility because if you look at since day one, we had the Inner Circle. There's 5 guys that I got to think of stuff for, and we legit do not have writers. That's not some kind of a gimmick or some kind of a story. There's nobody writing. It's Tony's writing, and some of the guys that have kind of earned that space already. But I write every single story that we've seen so far with Tony's input. And when I did a year with MJF, he was very involved. I just did 8 months with Eddie Kingston. Eddie had ideas, but it was mostly just ideas that I had. And once again, letting the story lead you. If you let the story lead you, it always works out better than if you try and lead the story, because then you almost have to shoehorn things, and that never works. So it's been very organic, these storylines that we've been doing. And it's great to have the creative freedom. Like I said, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, now in the Jericho Appreciation Society, there's 8. So, I can't write for everybody, but I try and give ideas and thoughts and, keep the plate spinning for everybody as well. But that's part of my job. Is one of the reasons why I'm here, is I think that type of experience lends to the creativity, which lends to the stories that we're telling.
So, Chris, you've been in every relevant promotion for the last 30 years. So I'm going to ask you an overall question about the industry. Where do you see the business going as a whole?
Well, there's some huge changes, obviously. I think just the fact that AEW is in existence was the first kind of tipping point for the business. Obviously WWE, there's some big changes there too, which will affect how they do their business. So it's exciting. I think there's a lot for fans to look forward to, but I think the most important thing is the fact that AEW has, like I said, once again, right out of the gate, made a difference and really showed people that there's an alternative to the norm, and it's better. And I think once again that's really shown over the last couple of years. When you turn on our TV, there's no wrestling company like it. Both from a match standpoint, from a character standpoint, storytelling standpoint.
Fan driven. It seems like you really listen to what the fans want.
Yeah, but you do, and you got to, like I said, you got to read the room. Who's getting over? You mentioned Orange Cassidy again. When I first saw Orange Cassidy, I didn't understand what the hell he was. I didn't get it. And then I said, well, stop, get your head out of your ass and stop being such a snob, and really delve into why he's so popular. And once I did that, I got it. And said, well, I want to work with this guy because he's unique. And the fans were the first ones. It's Danhausen. I don't even know if Danhausen's even had a match in our company yet.
People seems to curse people, right?
People go nuts for it. And that's who cares? Who cares? Ultimate Warrior was not a great wrestler. He had some good matches, but he was not a great wrestler. Who cares? He draws money. People went nuts for him. That's what wrestling's all about. about. And I think sometimes people get a little bit too caught up in the 5-star match and the work rate. Yeah, it's important, but the more important thing is having that connection to the audience. If you can connect to the audience and people pay money to come see you, to boo you, cheer you, everything in between. That's what the business is all about. The matches are a great kind of, dressing on the tree, but the tree, the Christmas tree of pro wrestling, is the connection with the audience and getting people excited about what it is that you're doing. If you can do that, people will pay to see it. And I think we've done that.
So, do you read into a lot of social media reaction and all that? Because I know the fans can be very brutally honest with what they love.
It's their opinion. And I also think the influence of social media is overrated. I think it's overblown. And I'll tell you the reason why. I have over 4 million followers on Instagram, right? 4.2 to be exact. If I post a video or a picture and it gets 10,000 views or over, that's a lot. If it gets 100,000, that's pretty rare. Think about that. 100,000 out of 4 million. It's not a lot. You look at the follower counts that you have. Same thing with Twitter. You post something, a match, a song, a promo, whatever. If you got 100 tweets about one thing, that would be amazing, huge. You trend on Twitter with 2,000 tweets. I've got 4 million followers on Twitter. That's nothing. So I think you got to take it all with a grain of salt. There's people on Twitter who think I'm the greatest ever. And there's people on Twitter who wish I would crawl into a hole and never be seen again. You can't worry about it either way. You got to take it with a grain of salt. Everybody has an opinion, and that's fine. Only my opinion matters.
Take that, Cornette.
He makes money off it, so good for him.
I'm very curious building on that, and I agree exactly what you said about social media. Is there a challenge with drawing younger fans? Because the impression is with TikTok and Snapchat, they don't have an attention span beyond a certain amount of time. You got to hook them, because it's like when they see the product, they're going to be hooked. But is it harder to hook the younger fans nowadays?
Well, absolutely, and that's why I started calling myself the demo god a couple of years ago, and it was true, because at the time, even now, AEW demos are huge. That's why we've been #1 on cable for the last, 6 weeks in a row for our night, even though the viewership is not as much as Tucker Carlson, right? The viewership of Tucker Carlson is 3 million. Viewership of AEW is 1 million, but we'll finish at #1 because the demos are hard. What's the demo? The demo is the age group of people watching. And the most important age group is 18 to 49 and 18 to 34. And we're doing very well with that demo because we're hooking the younger people. Because you can't dismiss the cool factor. AEW is the cool wrestling company. And that is huge for young people. And you're right, because they have shorter attention spans. A lot of young kids don't even watch TV.
No.
They don't. My kids don't. They watch their phones. They watch Netflix. They watch streaming. So that's another challenge too. But then we'll put something up, for example, on our TV show on Dynamite, and let's say we do 1 million viewers. Okay, great. Well, then I posted something from the match that did 1 million viewers, and I think between YouTube and Instagram, I think it's already at 2 million. So people are watching, they're consuming in different ways, and it all counts. So once our show airs, then we delegate and fragment the show, put it on YouTube, put it up on TikTok, put it up on a reel, and then people are watching it from that as well. So you'll always get, you see Dynamite? No, but I saw parts of it, and those are the parts that they're probably, how they decide to consume their AEW, that's how they do it. That's just the way of the world now.
It was funny, my husband and I were talking yesterday, just sitting outside, we were seeing how many people were wearing AEW shirts here.
Yeah.
It's not really gets taken over so much. Is it surreal for you to see that, from the fans, even being here at Comic-Con and seeing so many?
It's not surreal because I expect it, because I know how popular we are. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that would, for example, for you and your husband to see it, it's interesting. For us, it's becoming more and more commonplace. And that's, once again, I think we've done a really good job of kind of infiltrating the right way, and the right way is by having a grassroots, loyal, it's the way that Metallica or Iron Maiden became huge. They weren't huge at the start, but they had a fan base, even with Fozzy, with our band. Our fan base at the beginning was very exclusive and very ardent and very much supportive of everything that we did. And then as you start getting radio play and getting hit singles, suddenly who is this band? Well, you have... There's Iron Maiden shirts everywhere, there's Fozzy shirts everywhere, because the people that have been fans from the start are diehards, and then that permeates throughout the music world. Same thing with AEW. Our fan base was diehard from the beginning, and now it permeates out throughout the wrestling world. This is pop culture personified here. It doesn't surprise me at all. That's why we're here in the first place.
Yeah. Is it still hard for you to switch hats between like the music thing and the wrestling thing? I mean, I feel like you're just all over the place all
Well,
the
I mean,
time.
no, because that's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to be in a rock band and I wanted to be a wrestler, right? So how do I do that? Well, I kind of found a way to make that happen. It's the same way now, even, we're talking about...
it looks like an episode of your podcast.
Yeah.
Paranormal's
Like,
going on
what's
right
going
here.
on here?
I thought there might have been a bird in here or something.
I know.
That just flew in. But even so, that's kind of like with the Painmaker project that I'm doing. I mean, we have, this Painmaker character started in Japan because I wanted to do something a little bit darker there because it really kind of fit the vibe of what I was doing in Japan. And my thought was, what does a serial killer look like if he was a pro wrestler? And that's where the makeup came from and the hat. And just really liked this character. And that's why I wanted to kind of do Painmaker graphic novel because I think it really lends itself to the comic book world. And I was also thinking, how many Spider-Man, Superman, Batman movies can they do? Sooner or later, somebody has to create a new hero or an anti-hero in this case. So that's kind of where the Painmaker was, the evolution of it, and that's why I wanted to do a graphic novel for it. And also,
Are you doing that?
yeah, that's what I'm doing. So taking it to the metaverse too, and the blockchain with NFTs as well. But the Painmaker is not Chris Jericho and makeup. The Painmaker is an intergalactic serial killer who's now reformed himself and is now on the hunt for other intergalactic serial killers. So he can go across the galaxy and there's whatever alien world has serial killers, he can go and kill them, but he still has the urge to kill an innocent person once in a while, so that's his flaw. And I thought, this is perfect, and I now have this graphic novel plan that's what we're working on, that's coming out, and the overall is to do a feature film, and create a new superhero.
When does the graphic novel due out?
Well, we're starting it now. Once again, it's going to go through the blockchain and the metaverse. So I did 2 NFT Painmaker NFTs the last couple of years that both sold out huge. Because that's the thing with NFTs. If you don't know about it, it's like, what is it? If you know about it, it's a huge community. And they're very, very ardent with everything that you do. So I really want to kind of delve into that because I think once again it's kind of the future. It's the now. Same thing like 10 years ago when people were still selling DVDs and Blu-rays. It's like, well, sooner or later you're going to watch everything on your phone. Kind of the same thing with NFTs as well. So we're going to start dropping it I think in September, and then you drop it in chapters. That's kind of how it works. But once again, it all kind of delves back into this wrestling character that I thought was perfect for an anti-hero. And so yes, so there's comic books as well.
Intergalactic Dexter.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
curious.
kind of like Dexter, but he's still. Dexter doesn't want to kill innocents. The Painmaker still does, and the Painmaker can go into space.
Or like Lodi or Loki or
Kind of a little bit like was it Loki?
Lobo.
like Lobo. That's what I was thinking about.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. Kind of a more modernized version of that.
Well, Chris, a great combination of music and comedy and wrestling would be your cruise ship, which I believe is coming up on, is it
Fourth one.
Four-leaf clover?
Yeah.
I've worked in stand-up. I know Bruce Jingles. I know Ryan E. Miller. I know Brad Williams is one of my closest buddies. So,
Great guy.
I have not made it to the cruise ship yet. Could you talk a little bit about...
Once again, Fozzy played the Kiss Cruise in 2015. The moment we docked, I called my manager and said, I can do my own cruise. You got an idea. We combine wrestling and music and comedy and paranormal, everything I'm into, onto a cruise ship. And it took 3 years to get it going, but we got it going, up and running. Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Ranger at sea. And the first cruise ever to have wrestling in the middle of the ocean. That's kind of how it started. We actually even had to have a team of engineers come on board to figure out how do you put a ring on the ocean, because what if they get really bad waves in it? So we had to create a whole water ballast system to put the ring over top of it to make sure it won't move. So all of these types of things that people don't even think about when they go on the cruise, but it was a huge hit out of the gate. And then the pandemic happened, so we had to postpone a couple times, and now we're back up and running again. So yeah, we're getting ready for our 4th voyage in February.
Is it always the same path?
It's always the same way.
The same path?
Like destination?
Yes.
No, we change it every year.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's it's like how many we have 2,000 people every year that come on board, and it's like the best. I think it's the best theme cruise. It got voted the best theme cruise because it's everything that I'm into on a cruise ship.
I like that it's different. I mean, Shiprock is awesome. And
Yeah.
that's like a really good rock one. And, but I think that, it's just the music element. Like bringing all those other elements in.
And that's the
super
thing. And
cool.
Shiprock has literally 50 bands. I don't
Right,
do that. I
right.
have like
Yeah.
10 bands. So everyone gets a focus. 10 bands. I have the legends, the Hall of Fame wrestlers. I have wrestlers from now. We do tournaments, wrestling. We film Dynamite on the ship one week. So yeah, the comedy, stand-up comedy, people love that. And then I always have a good paranormal guy telling those types of stories. I'm into that as well. So it really is kind of a cool combination of just all-out entertainment.
It's like whenever I get
Yes.
Were you surprised to see the Le Corazon de Leon action figure?
Well, no, because I kind of once again orchestrated it because I saw they were doing a Luminaries, which was I think Dusty Rhodes was one, and we had Owen Hart, kind of older. And I thought, why don't we do a Corazon de Leon one? Because it's kind of a cool idea, and I think for some reason it was brought up to me, and it's great because the jacket that I'm wearing, Dr. Luther's mother made that in 1991. She used to be my seamstress. So the first thing I did was sign a copy. She's still alive and send it to her. Your jacket, 30 years later, it's immortalized forever. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Those types of things, like I said, once again, having this evolution and this diversity in my career with all these different characters and looks, it's cool to be able to revisit that and for people to go, wow, there's a Corazon de Leon action figure. I kind of think it's a pretty cool vibe to be able to do that.
So what's coming up for AEW that we could look forward to for the rest of the year?
Well, I mean, like I said, just every week we continue to break the boundaries of what we're doing. I think some international shows are going to happen soon. But once again, just the stories that we're telling. We have a lot of injuries right now. I mean, Punk is hurt, Bryan Danielson is hurt, Adam Cole is hurt. Those are MJF is MIA. There's a lot of guys that are top guys that aren't around. So old faithful Jericho is still keeping the lights on. So yeah, like I said, I think once some of the guys come back, that'll be exciting. But until then, just every week we work very hard on making every show kind of its own standalone classic episode. And some weeks we do, some weeks it falls a little short, but every week that's our goal. And we'll continue to do that. And I think it's exciting what we've been doing. There's nothing but huge upsides for us all across the board. I think the biggest thing is to start traveling outside the United States and doing shows in Canada and Europe, because that'll change the vibe of the fans as well, because they'll be super excited to see us. Not that the United States fans aren't, but it's a different vibe when you go overseas.
I just said one last question. So,
Make it a good one.
Go ahead, you can go.
well, I couldn't sleep tonight if I didn't mention this on Instagram. You and I were talking back and forth about a conspiracy theory for your podcast about something that goes on in Hollywood. It's called The Game, and it's a way that people are manipulate people who have a passion for singing or wrestling or acting or anything like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, you responded.
Are you sure it was me?
Well, it was Instagram, unless you have a handler that handles your Instagram. So somebody that said they were Chris Jericho with a little blue check mark said they were interested in wanting to do it. And I sent some message and nobody got back to me. So
Well, I'll give you my email. You can send me
that would be great. Have you ever heard of The Game?
I haven't. That's why you can save it for the show. We can talk
Yeah,
about it.
it's super
Send me a rundown on it. For sure.
That'd be
Let's
great.
do it. There you go. Good one.
All right.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.